Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Syed Farooq Hassan is back with a new episode of Sky is the Limit. They say life is all about taking risks. I have a lot of friends who are in the service industry. They work from 9 to 5, 9 to 6, 9 to 9, earn a salary, support themselves and their families. And I have a lot of friends who are into business, who are entrepreneurs. They say the higher the risk, higher the return. Today, I happen to be with one such entrepreneur. From humble beginnings, mashallah, he has made a mark for himself. He is the leading manufacturer of IVD equipment. He is also the Chief Executive Officer of viSole group of companies. How and where did it all start? Let's hear it from the man himself. Let me introduce you to Zafar Mahmood. Assalamu alaikum, Zafar sir.
Wa alaikum salam, Farooq sir.
What a pleasure to be here with you. And I was just listening to your inspirational story, and I thought that would make a very, very apt case for this program, Sky is the Limit, where a lot of viewers get a lot of inspiration from our guests. Zafar bhai, you are basically the sole and the only manufacturer of IVD equipment in Pakistan. You are an exporter also. You are into healthcare business, you have a group of company. And I was quite amazed to see that you are not an MBBS doctor. Quite a contrast. It's like an engineer doing medicine or acting like a doctor. So that really, got my attention. I would like you to brief us or tell us how did it all start and from where did it all start? Where were you born? How was your early childhood and how did you get into business?
Thank you very much for bringing the attention to this segment. IVD is relatively, the segment which took more focus during the COVID, because when we talked about the PCR testing during the COVID, which took more attention, that IVD is a segment where we need to be focused.
Everyone is familiar with
Everyone is familiar with the testing. And now also the globally antimicrobial resistance, like we use antibiotics too much. That's why that we are getting resistance to the antimicrobial resistance, and that people say that futuristically this is a silent pandemic which is already among us. And the only solution to keep this AMR away from us, of course, the minimum use of antibiotic, but that is possible only if we follow the testing regularly. The early diagnosis and the right diagnosis is the key to the right medicine, and of course to save us from the bugs like antimicrobial resistance.
Good.
So this is the
IVD
IVD in the industry where I am.
Okay.
So how I started, of course, I born in Texla.
Okay.
A small city near Islamabad.
We all know Texla because of the museum and the history.
So I born, fortunately I was poor.
Fortunately you were poor. Okay, that's a very good way of putting it.
Because when you are poor and you have nothing, you have limited options and limited ways forward, so you have to drive yourself by you.
Yeah.
And fortunately I was after my sister, I was the elder in my family.
Okay.
And also fortunately my father was a railway employee, and he said, okay, you have to pass matriculation so that you can get a job in some factory like POF, like HIT, very close to Islamabad.
So you have to complete your basic education and then get into a job.
And even after during the matric time, there was a hard time, of course. So he said, even you have to learn some work, some manual work, like skills, like maybe tailoring, like something else. So there was a challenge for me. So in the 9th class, I was thinking that now how I will survive. So I just get out of school and I appeared in the matriculation examination so that I can clear my matric as early as possible.
On
so
your
I
own?
can get the job, yes.
You didn't tell your family or your father?
No, I did not tell my family.
Oh, okay.
So I took about 350 rupees from some friends, and I appeared in the matriculation examination when I was in the 9th class in school.
Okay. And who prompted you to do that? Was it your own thinking?
It was
or
my
your
own
friends?
thinking that I have to leave my education, so at least I passed matric.
Okay. Okay.
And I was in a school, Government Talimul Quran High School, and historically hardly 1 or 2 students passed matriculation. So that was another
success rate
challenge.
was
Success rate was less than.
so you were scared that, okay.
So let's have the matriculation and get some job in factory like PUF, like HIT.
Okay.
So I appeared and Alhamdulillah, I passed with the first division.
Okay.
And after the result, I disclosed and nobody was believing me. I said, "Hey, it's not possible. How can
And you didn't take any tuition or anything?
No, nothing.
You studied on
I
your
was
own?
actually tutoring some lower class students like 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th at my home to manage my own expenses.
To make some extra
Exactly.
money. Okay.
So after clearing the examination, when I shared, this was of course a big news for my friends, for my teachers, for my family. And afterwards, I returned the money which I took
The 350 rupees.
To pay my fee, 350 rupees. So then I started learning the typing, basic typing.
Okay.
So that I can get a job,
job
like
somewhere.
LDC or UDC or something else. But it was my inspiration to have more and more education. So I started teaching, like I was tutoring in my home.
In the same school or at home?
No, at my home.
Tuition.
There was another guy who was from Afghanistan, and he said, okay, let's start our own tuition center.
Tuition center. In those days, tuition center was a big business.
Very big business. So I remembered the name. We started with the name of Standard Education Academy. And that was the first in Texla.
Okay.
So we took a small building and we start selling the name Standard Education Academy, and we start teaching 8th class, 7th class, 9th class.
All subjects?
All subjects. I was teaching physics, chemistry, and he started math.
So that means you were very good in your studies.
At that time, I was good. That was the thing. That
so we'll come back to that. Okay.
So we get very good success, like 30, 40, 50 students within few days, and it starts running. So I decided, why not? I took the admission in school, in college. So I took admission. I was very good in math. So I applied for FSc pre-engineering.
Okay.
In Wa College, FG College, Wakant. But unfortunately, my number was first division, but I did not qualify for the engineering. So
the merit list, you couldn't make it to the merit
I got
list.
in medical.
Okay.
I met the principal, Dr. SCLV. He said, we cannot move you into the engineering, but maybe after some time, you can apply, and if there will be any seat, you can move to the engineering.
Okay.
So I started in medical, but I do not take any interest in biology, because that was not my favorite subject. My favorite subject was math.
So you're talking about your intermediate, FSc
Intermediate,
basically.
FSc.
Okay.
So anyhow, after some time, he said, no, there is no seat, you have to pass FSc pre-medical.
Okay.
So
biology
was not a subject for me.
Not close to your heart.
Not close to my heart. But at that time, I started, of course, learning myself biology from some friend, something else. But anyhow, I passed FSc with good first division. And it was my ambition, now I will be in the medical field as a doctor.
You got marks on merit and you're going into a medical college.
So I started, because that was hardworking, of course, without any tuition, without any help. But I was teaching the students in matriculation, like biology, physics, chemistry, so that was helping me to understand the subjects.
So you didn't leave physics at all, even after getting pre-medical? That was close to your heart.
That was close to me. Even in second year, I was teaching the first year students.
Okay.
So that was, I think, a very good thing. So I passed FSc in a very good exam, with very good marks.
And your SCA was still running, the standard
yeah, that was in the evening.
That was in the
Standard Education Academy was the main source that keep me away from the applying for the other jobs, so that I can keep my house running and my expense, everything can be managed from that education, from that component. So I think after passing the FSc, I applied for pre-engineering for the medical MBBS. I belong to AJK, Azad Kashmir.
Okay.
So I applied on the quota of AJK.
Right.
And they nominated me Chanka Medical College, Sindh.
Sindh, okay.
On the merit. So then again, on those, that was 90, 88, 90. So at that time, my family again said, no, it's not possible to move you there. And of course, not possible to manage the expense of education, especially for the MBBS. So it was another disappointment for me that I could not go. My friends who were with me at the top level, because I was always top in the class. So they moved to medical college, and I felt very depressed. I could not go. Anyhow, one of my teachers, Rahul Chamal in chemistry, said, you are very good in chemistry. You took BSc Chemistry, Botany, Zoology. I took BSc Chemistry, Zoology, but kept studying at the same time, kept teaching. at the Student Education Academy, and on those days we were teaching chemistry, biology, and my friend, he was teaching math and physics, because I was very good in chemistry. So in BSc Chemistry, Botany, Zoology, at the same time I applied for a job in viNoble Chemicals, and I got the job as a supervisor. So I was working in the night, in the day I was in school and college.
And in the evening, tuitions.
Tuition.
Wow.
So it was very good.
Three different roles.
3 different roles. So in the BSc, I think it was also success. It was very low. No, you know, chemistry, botany, zoology is very hard to manage. There are 3 different subjects: chemistry is itself, biology, botany, and zoology. Very difficult subject, and success rate was also very difficult. You know, but I was the only student who passed BSc Chemistry, Botany, Zoology in the first time in the history of the college of FG College vacant.
Oh, wow, okay.
And during the Viva, my teacher, there was a teacher, I remember the name, from Government College Lahore. And he said, my teacher said, you can ask him any question of MSc level for the chemistry. He said, okay. He asked me some question, then he said, okay, you will come to Government College Lahore, I will teach you in chemistry, and you will PhD in chemistry. This is my vision for you.
Wow, okay.
I said, okay. After passing the BSc, again the same hurdles come. I cannot go to Government College Lahore. I was on merit.
You can't leave your station.
Because of the Student Education
Family.
Academy, family, and
Business
then of course night shift in the job, and then I left the education. I started
And you started focusing on your career.
on my job, and just job as a supervisor, and they promoted me as a charge man in the job in the viNoble Chemicals.
viNoble Chemicals, okay.
There was our officer, AW, assistant work manager. We were discussing his thoughts. You are very intelligent and you should do CSS. And I will teach you English. It's also very interesting. I applied for Master of English Literature in Government College, Rawalpindi, Askarmal College.
Okay.
And my English marks during the BSc was very good. So I got the admission on the merit in the first list. After I was, in the evening, I was studying, as I was teaching as a tuition. In the night, I was working in the viNoble Chemicals. In the morning time, I was going to the Government College. Askarmal, daily from Texla. And in the evening, going teaching, and then going to the viNoble Chemicals in Wakand for job.
And from Texla to Pindi would be a 45 minutes drive.
1 hour by the private bus.
Private bus.
From Pirodai to Government College Askarmal by foot. It's almost
so
2 kilometers.
So you had a very close encounter with life throughout your struggle days.
So, but after few days, there was an exam, assignment, and there was a teacher, Zafar Zadi. He called me after the assignment. From where did you get the education? I told him it was a government school, and this was a TART school, and I passed hardly. And when did you study the 10th English? I said, in 6th class we studied the 10th. You cannot do M English.
You can't do M.
You can't. Why? Your education is so poor, your background is so bad, and your grammar you are in the Master of English Literature and you don't have sense of
the tense
grammars. So how can you be? How can you do it? So it's my advice.
Must be very demotivating.
Don't waste your time. Go back and focus something else.
On your job or something.
Job. I was very depressed. Next day I talked to the same guy who was my officer at my job. I told him this is the story. He said, no. I will teach you. You will do master because I vision you as a CS officer in Pakistan. So that was the vision for me about my officer. The next day I went back to the college. I asked this teacher, Zafar Zadi, no sir, I want to try.
I want to continue.
He said, okay. He wrote a name of a book, Practical English Grammar by V.P. Sharma, Indian book. You have to search it out from some old bookshops so that you should know the English grammar practice. In those days, Friday there was a bookstores and bookshops in the southern
on the roadside.
On the roadside,
and you could get cheap books.
So I spent whole day to search out this book, and in the evening I found that book. The next day I was with him, said, this is the book. So you did good job to find out the book. Now you start studying it. So he was teaching me daily 30 minutes, giving me an assignment and was teaching me. But said, you will not be able to pass first part, like there was, you know, in English literature you have annual exam in part 1 and then part 2. So part 1 you will definitely, you will not be able to pass, but don't disappoint.
Don't get disappointed, you will make it.
You will make it out. Anyhow, in the exam, not only I passed, I was only among the few students who passed the exam with very good marks.
Very nice.
That was, of course, historical. And I was studying, I was member of all the libraries, like British Library, American Library, all good libraries.
So you had a passion for studying?
Study. Municipal Library in Liaquat Bagh.
The Cantonment Board Library.
Board. So I was studying a lot. Like every week I was studying like 8 to 10 books.
Wow. Okay.
So like this. So in second part, when I was there, I was one of the key member of the English Literary Society in college.
Okay. Okay.
After all these things. But anyhow, I passed the Master English Literature.
You passed your exam.
And then I was studying for CSS, but at the same time I was passing through the economical challenges. And I took a job. There was a newspaper that the sales promotion officer by Welcome Pakistan. So I went there, they selected me, and the next day sent me to Karachi for training. So after doing all these things, I was into a medical sales promotion officer.
Medical sales promotion officer, okay. Okay.
So how I moved from with a different background of math, chemistry, biology, then English literature.
Yeah, and getting different experiences, doing masters in English language, okay.
Ultimately I come to sales.
Okay.
So I spent, during the training there, of course it was a very difficult time.
Yeah, but before we go into the training, so tell me, this habit of studying was instilled into you by your father, mother, friends? How did you pick this habit? Because this is a habit. You know, it's not every student doesn't want to read or study all the time. Where did you get this passion from?
I think I could not get time
earlier in your career.
From very first day,
yeah.
I was very much fond of studying. So I think
right from
my
school?
Father, my grandfather, who was a very religious person, and he was teaching me Quran. In the 5 years of age, I like completed my Quran Nazara. In 7 years, I started translating the Quran in Urdu language, and I did it within next 1 year and a half year. And then I started studying the tafsir. Ibn Kathir was the first tafsir which I completed at the age of 11 or 12. In the mosque, there was a class of many old guys, 60, 70 years, and we were teaching. The teacher was, the Maulvi Sahib was teaching us translation, so that we should learn Quran by heart, to know the English, so the translation in Urdu language. So I think so. I was spending very much time into that in Quran. That gives me very good passion to learn more, to educate myself, and to study more. And my grandfather, he was the person behind, I think, to keep pushing me to education and keep studying me.
So your grandfather had the more of the influence.
More impact on
rather than your parents.
Yes, I think so. More influence in my early age.
And during your school days, were you like an outgoing extrovert kid, or were you an introvert who would just stay to himself? Like in your class, grade 1, grade 2, early school days, were you like were you busy in extracurricular activities, games, sports, or you were just confined to just go study and come back?
Mostly introvert, but I was playing cricket, and I was very good in cricket at that time.
And you didn't have a lot of friends?
No, not.
Didn't have a lot. You were just focused on what you wanted.
Even during the college time, there were some activities like, you can go for Murray, or you can do the college trips, and you can go Swat. So every time some hurdles come and I could not go. So I was feeling very disappointed and very bad. Even I would not be able to see any city or any country. Of course, it was my dream, but of course I was feeling very bad that I could not go. I think during my master in English literature, it was first time that I went to Murray.
Okay. So did you have this at the back of your mind right from start, that maybe education is the one and only thing which can actually change your lifestyle? Did you know that?
No, I don't know.
You didn't know
that? No, I can't say that.
You can't say that. So it was just your passion for studying, and you weren't studying to actually change your lifestyle?
Not at all.
You were just studying to develop yourself?
Not at all. So it was just, you can say, I never moved with plan.
Okay.
So whatever I faced a situation,
It
I
was
tried
just
to excel.
whatever life gave you, you accepted it and excelled at
Excel
it.
it.
So during school days, like most of the students plan that, okay, I want to become a pilot when I grow up. I want to become a doctor when I grow. You didn't have any ambitions or
I
plans?
had a dream at that time to be pilot.
Okay.
But of course, there was no opportunity for me to move into that segment. And then I had, during the FSC, when we were discussing, so I made my mind, okay, now I will be doctor.
Okay.
During FSC. Then when I could not go there during BSc, I studied, okay, I will do my PhD in chemistry, because one of the, during the Viva, he asked me, you will be very good in chemistry, so you did PhD in chemistry. When I could not do that, when I said, okay, I will take admission in Qaid-e-Azam and I will be genetics. That was my passion, because during the BSc, I was very good in biology, especially botany and zoology. So I was in genetics, especially it was my passion to learn more and more. How mutation and genetics, the things change, and during the course of life, how during the mutation, new things come. So that was my part of learning during my education. So I was thinking, why not I should be a genetics in Pakistan, PhD in genetics.
Okay.
So
you had these different plans, but none of them worked out.
None of them worked out.
And during your struggle days or early days of education, and you formed this academy, you tried different things. At any given point in time, did you ever get the feeling that, okay, I need to give up. This is not working out. This is too hard for me. Let me take the easy way, get a job, just lead a good life. Did it ever occur to you?
It was during, especially when I was studying BSc, and I had bad feeling that I am studying all the time and
For
teaching
nothing.
and very difficult, because I could not go to the college, I could not go to trips, I could not make as per my plan. So why I am studying?
Why I'm wasting time?
Why I'm wasting time? So one of my teacher, he was very good in chemistry, Professor Rauf Jamal. He always motivated me. You hard work and definitely you will excel ultimately. And then another guy during my job, he was also motivating me that you are very intelligent, so you will pass the CSS and you will be the assistant commissioner or police officer. And so that was at that time my passion. Okay, I will be in the administrative post and I will be
get a position of authority.
Get a position of authority, yes.
So, but what you were telling me, you didn't attempt the CSS exam.
No, I didn't attempt it.
Why?
I was very good. I was studying. He was teaching me. But when I got the job, this sales job, this is a full-time job. Then I also had to leave my tuition as well. Because this is, full-time, since from morning till evening. You have to involve to visit the doctor, the chemist. It was a good company, Welcome Pakistan.
Yeah, but you could not get enough time to study for your CSS, which is a tough exam, or continue with your other activities like the tuition and everything like
because I found in this job the compensation, economical compensation, the package on the market
that you required, which you were getting from other sources.
To keep teaching of course, keep studying my younger brother and sisters, because that was also my task. And I was supporting my family. My father was retired from the government at that time, so I was supporting fully my family. Even my elder sister and younger sisters and brothers, so I was responsible for everyone.
So we're going to step into your professional career, and then from there how you transformed into an entrepreneur, and a very successful entrepreneur who's become an exporter, who set up industries in different parts of the world. A very, very self-made man, a very, very resilient personality, such an inspiring story. We're going to talk more about Mr. Zafar Mahmood. Stay tuned. We'll be right back after a short break. Welcome back to Sky's the Limit. This is Syed Farooq Hassan in conversation with Mr. Zafar Mahmood. So Zafar Sahab, you basically moved to Karachi as a medical sales rep with one of the leading pharmaceutical companies. And according to you, it was a tough job and you didn't have enough time to continue with your tuition or your studies as per CSS that you wanted to do.
Passion for CSS.
Your passion for CSS. But it was an interesting job. You liked it. Karachi must have been a new place for you because you didn't travel that much, as you said, in your early school days. How did you cope up with that struggle?
Karachi, I moved for the training.
Okay.
And after passing the training, I came back to Islamabad.
Okay.
My basic station, the home station, the station was same Islamabad.
Okay.
And after a few months, I got very good in sales. Even after passing the training, I got good score in the training. So
What was the secret of success in sales?
probably follow up.
Follow.
I am hard work because
Okay.
other people were, of course, the guys were working, but they gave me from very first day a very separate doing, it was focused on the specialist antibiotics, and there were the third generation cephalosporin that was recently launched. So they gave me, based on my training, I think results, they selected me and they put me into a doing which was very challenging, and they gave me the territory like CMH hospitals and Gilgit.
Okay. Oh, okay.
So that's another hard area, but I was going there from the very first day. So after passing the, of course, training, I also excel in the training, and I got very good knowledge on the cephalosporin with my chemistry background and biology background, so it was good. So I think within the next 1.5 years, I was on the top among all the sales guys.
Okay, you're the
in
number
my
one sales guy.
performance.
Okay.
So I know I was a sales guy.
Okay.
But I was, from the interior side, from my inner side, I was very depressed that I was passionating and motivating myself for, as a CSS officer, previously
Still?
doctors at that time.
Okay.
So, but I was not managing time, but I have to pass my all the expenditures and everything. So I decided to take admission in MBA in the evening classes.
Okay.
So I took in a private college on the 6th Road for on the regular basis, but on the MBA, Master in Business Administration. And at that time, I was also visiting like Pintadan Khan, Khewra, Fatehjang,
All the
Taladan,
rural areas.
all the rural areas, Gilgit, Skardu,
So you got to know Pakistan at the back of your hand.
and back of my head. So at the same time, in the evening, I was also taking the classes for the MBA.
Sales is the best job to know about people,
Yes.
behavior, and places.
And places.
I always tell that to all youngsters, that if you want to start your career, sales is very good, excellent if you want to know about people and if you want to know about places.
Exactly, you are
Yeah.
right, absolutely right.
Okay.
But I was working hard, and I was performing in the sales in a very nice way.
Okay.
So I was earning good bonuses, incentives, regular
So life was
basis.
good.
Life was good.
Okay.
And then I started, I think I will establish myself now as a new career in the sales, management. My aspiration was to become area business manager, zonal manager, country manager. So I will excel in that segment. So that's why I took admission into MBA with a major in marketing. So and anyhow, it was very easy for me. MBA.
Where did you take admission?
It was in the 6th Road. There's a college, viSole Harper, AJK University.
Evening classes?
In the evening classes.
Yeah,
in the
because
evening.
in the morning you were doing a job.
Of course, I was doing job, and then of course I left the other job in the war. I also stopped teaching because I was full
In the academy.
attention to my career at that time. In the evening classes in the MBA, but it was regular for the 2 years regular program, and I appeared on the 6 monthly semester basis. So I completed within 2 years with good marks, with good grade, everything. So post MBA, I was still in the sales in Welcome, but I had an aspiration to move to this senior post. But there were some politics inside the company and the promotion. So I got some bad taste with my senior management, and I resigned.
Just without a job?
Without a job.
Just one day you decided that you just want to quit? You didn't think about the consequences?
At that time, no.
At that time, okay.
But very next day I realized that,
that you've done something wrong.
Because there was no actually people, there was no person in my life, like now no friend with whom I could have consulted. Within my family, there was no person with whom I have consulted. My father was, of course, had no clue about this job, even about my career, about what I'm doing. So I did not consider anybody, I did not inform anybody. So from the next 4 or 5 days, I was staying at home. So my mother asked, why you are not going? I said, okay, I'm just on vacation for a few
I'm not
days.
feeling well or something.
So that was the thing. So I saw in the newspaper, there was an ad, National Sales Manager for Diagnostic Kits in the healthcare sector by Raja Group of Industries. Next day, I was there on the Murray Road.
For the interview?
For the interview, a Vespa showroom. There was a guy, Raja Habibur Rahman, and he said, okay. He took my interview. He said, okay, this is very challenging. This is the first job we are hiring as a national sales. We will build the team in due course of time. but if you want to try, you can try. And he offered me job which was 30% of the salary which I was getting in welcome.
1/3 of what you were getting.
What I was getting.
Okay.
I accepted immediately.
Because you wanted to work.
Wanted to work.
And you had that thing in your mind that even if I quit my job, I will make it again. Because I know
that was known to me. That was not.
You're
That was not a
hardworking.
challenge. That was not challenge. Yes.
you've been through the struggle.
At that time, I jumped because of the position. When he said you will be the national sales manager, you will work countrywide. So I said, okay, from SPO now I will be
Yeah,
this
this
national
is something
sales
I didn't get
manager.
in the other company, so I want to become.
I will pass all the steps from SPO to the national sales manager. So next day I was national sales manager, but when I realized there is no person below me,
I'm the
there's
only.
no person above
I'm the
me.
SPO and also the head of sales.
Head of the sales. And even head of the logistics, head of the payments, he showed me there were a few kids lying at his home actually. And he went to somewhere in France, and he took, I think he met somebody, and they told me, okay, if you invest into this segment, this is a growing segment, diagnostic, and if you buy these kits in some exhibition, you will be establishing a new career. So he was actually in automobile, so he was also trying to establish a new career.
Get into this
healthcare sector.
Healthcare sector.
So he had already imported those kits which were not required actually in Pakistan.
Okay.
It was some chlamydia, which that was not even common.
Without doing any homework, you
Without. So and he wanted to get rid of those kits, and so that's why he hired the guy in shortcut. But after 2-3 months, I started visiting laboratories and some other big labs in Islamabad region. After 2-3 months, I felt it's very difficult to sell these kits because the kits, there is a demand, but the kits which he has imported,
there's no demand.
There is no demand. And after 3 months, he said, no, Zafar, I have to
let you go
because
you're not successful.
you're just bringing the expenditure. There is no sale.
Okay.
So after 3 days, I said, oh, there is a sale. He said, why? I actually made a fake story. I told him, though, I had made this sale, and now I will pay you, to show him there is a sale.
Okay.
I lied, but
and you bought the kit yourself?
I bought the kit myself. I put those kits at my own, and I put my 2 months salary to him.
Okay. You forego. You forgave.
Just to extend my, of course, the career and get another opportunity to, because I was also, this was a new field, and he was not into the field, so I lied because to understand the market, and I found some good friends in the laboratories who asked me, why you have imported this kit? Instead of this kit, you should have imported these other kits.
The other kit, which
were
required.
The market. So in those few months, I learned a lot, and ultimately we sold out those kits somehow in some institutes. And then he said, Zafar, this is a very tough job, and I'm not interested. It's a very small market, so I am closing
down this division. So you don't have a job from tomorrow.
So
okay.
that was another job.
Another shock.
Another shock. So during the MBA, I had a friend, Ayub. I talked to him, and he said, okay, I had some money, 200,000-300,000. In Islamabad INT Center, I lived there. I went to see his home, and there was a pass-through. There was
passage.
A passage, like a small shop, like a passage below the stairs. So he said, we can use this place. We put a small table there. Only hardly 2 people can sit there. It was 6 by 8 square feet. So I said, okay, we will manage. It was in my mind that we will do something. Because during my last 3-4 months, 6 months, I had some friends who told me, if you bring hepatitis C kit, there's a big problem in Pakistan. We are facing shortages, and if you can manage, we can do. So one of our friend, I asked him if you can give me 100,000 rupees, 1 million Pakistani rupees. He said, I can give you for 1 year with certain, if you can share with me some profit, something. I said, okay, I will. But he trusted me. He gave me 100,000 rupees.
100,000 rupees? 1 lakh?
1 lakh, and then he made it up to 1 million. So ultimately we got 1 million rupees. And also 200,000-300,000 rupees was managed by Ayub. And I was, from my saving, I also spent around 200,000-300,000 rupees. So it was close to 1.6 million rupees. That was the total paid in capital we started. And I started import from China some hepatitis C kits for the rapid diagnosis for hepatitis C. It was very interesting that I started, of course, on the motorbike, and there was no motorbikes. I going in the wagon and moving to lab, and also taking the kits with me and selling and then coming back
So
and
hard
collecting
work
money.
all the way, struggle all the way.
All the way. And there was no salesperson, so everything was ourselves. And you was the guy who was actually account guy. He was on the finance side. So he had nothing to do anything with sales, or import, or commercial. So he had just to sit in the office to prepare the bill or whatsoever. But in very few days, in Islamabad, there was a campaign run by Pakistan Red Crescent Society. There was, actually I visited Red Crescent Society to sell my kits to the blood bank in Red Crescent Society in Islamabad at Chet. And the Secretary General, Brigadier Burki, he met me there. He said me, we are running a campaign for the blood donation drive. So if you can help us, those guys. I said, why not? Do you have a company? Yes, I have a company. Global Marketing Services, the name, and we can work. If you can bring the kits, yes, we can bring the kits. So he said, okay, you become the part of this donation drive campaign. And they asked me, okay, you are the part of our donation drive for the testing. So we worked day and night to make the campaign successful. And historically, that in one single day, at that time, it was the highest number of donations ever achieved in Pakistan.
Oh, really?
In a single day. Next day, we tested all the blood. They were all young generation. We worked also during the daytime to motivate the people. Believe me, 14% Hep C was positive. 1-4.
Oh.
Among all the young guys, college students and university students. Brigadier Burki called me in his office. He shouted on me. Your kits are not working good.
No,
you bring the bad kits. It's a total bad image to us. 14% positive.
Not possible.
Not possible. And it is a bad reputation. I will sue you. You had just left my office. You just say go. So it was, of course, extremely bad.
Another setback.
Another setback. So we were very, very, of course, disappointed and very much, of course, into tension, which was a tense situation. I am sending this sample to KRL, and within 3-4 days, they will come after confirmation on ELISA. Then we will see you. And don't show me your face before 4-5 days. Anyhow, after 4-5 days, I went there, and he said, okay, he bring tea. He actually asked, okay, bring tea for him. I thought
you were a bit relaxed. Something is right.
He said, Burgi sir, your results are 100% matched. It's a shocking news for us that 14%, 16% positivity among our young generation. What should we do? What do you think? It was not in my mind. It was not, what should I answer? I was not a medical professional. So I said, sir, why not we run this campaign to a bigger level and see how much positivity is there.
Maybe the sample group was not right. Maybe you had a lot of patients in that.
Exactly. So he said, okay, bring a plan. For the next 2-3 days, I wrote some reports, some studies, something, and after 4-5 days, I presented him a case study that we should start in Islamabad. And I also studied during my study that in PIMS, there was no hepatitis C testing at that time, 2007-8. In polyclinics, they were doing testing for hepatitis B and HIV, and there was no testing for hepatitis C. When I visited polyclinic, they said we cannot test because it's very expensive test. It's cost 1,000 rupees. And private, they were sending the samples to the private labs, and they were getting for 1,000 rupees per sample. And patient have to pay from the pocket. I offered them, okay, if we do 100 rupees, will you be able to manage it? He said, no. How can? We have to collect the money from the patient. For 100 rupees, very attractive. He pitched to his, I think, medical superintendent.
Yeah.
He said, okay, if these guys can offer us 100 rupees, 20 rupees is the expense, we will pay them 80 rupees.
80, subsidy.
So 20 rupees will be our syringe and other expense and technician expense whatsoever. We can start, at least we can try Hep C testing at polyclinic.
But how did you make that offer of from 1,000 rupees to 100 rupees?
We were importing, and it was costing us around 50 rupees.
Okay.
So in the market, this was around 1,000 rupees, 500 rupees, and from the very beginning, I was in a different mood and different way. I said, okay, get it done. He said, okay. We started, and we were doing the testing on the daily basis, 150, 60 patients. In the evening, we were collecting the money. Same time we started at PIMS. We participated in the tender, and we won the tender because of the price. So we started hepatitis C testing practically in Islamabad by ourselves in 2007-8. At the same time, we were working very closely with Brigadier Barki at PRCS, and he invited Dr. Zubaida Jalal, and he said, we are going to run anti-hepatitis campaign in Pakistan, and it is still on the news, on the media, on the history. There was a campaign launched by Red Crescent Society Pakistan, supported by Global Marketing Services, and I was on the stage to present the data about the study which we have done during 1 year, and what are the consequences and what is the prevalence rate, and how should we move forward.
Must be a proud moment.
That was a proud moment. I was sitting with Zubaida Jalal and Barki and other people on the stage. And he said, no, we will run it bigger, we will make it bigger. So they started the campaign, and they also started, okay, we will also start the vaccination program in Pakistan. So there's a program, SAPI, Social Action Program Initiative, was launched in Pakistan, and they started anti-hepatitis campaign for the testing and for the vaccination.
All over Pakistan?
All over Pakistan.
Okay, not just
so we were the partner for the testing, and for the vaccination they started with another pharmaceutical company, first Amson and then GSK, to have the hepatitis B vaccination for the people at a subsidized price.
Very nice.
So we were doing hepatitis B and hepatitis C testing for 100 rupees at that very, very subsidized rate. So this was, I think, one big step into the industry and into the mainstream of the industry.
Okay, very nice. Good.
So that was 2007, 8 or 9.
Okay.
So how we move into the hepatitis into the Pakistan to create an awareness and to introduce the testing at the massive level, at the grave level, like in PAMS, Polyclinic, and then we moved to the KPK and the other cities. So it was a countrywide, nationwide, a full campaign.
Fair enough. And then from GMS, how did you move on to forming other companies, and for what purpose?
Yes, at that time there was PCR was another challenge there, because hepatitis C was to be tested by the PCR, molecular testing. So in 2000, when we started this campaign, they also said we should introduce the PCR in Pakistan. So we are the company who introduced the first real-time PCR machine into Pakistan.
Okay.
That was from a company, US-based, Cefit, a very big company. I got the contact from a US guy. He introduced me this company, and I called the guy. I went to France, Toulouse. We signed the contract. We introduced the company here in Pakistan. And it was another big story and success story. We bring PCR, and then we introduced across the country. We had more people in Multan, Lahore, Sawat, everywhere. We introduced PCR, expanded. During my dad traveling, I went into the UAE. So in 2010, I started a company in UAE with the name of viSole, with a vision that we should move out of Pakistan. We should have some options outside Pakistan. That was a free zone company in Sharjah, airport free zone. There were some challenges on the logistics, on the payment processes and everything. So we managed a company at viSole, as a viSole in the free zone, Sharjah.
So till now it was just a trading company, not a manufacturing company?
No, it's a still trading company in 2010.
Yeah.
And I think that 10 income, then we moved into in Shaukat Khanam, as we were working for hepatitis. Then we introduced immunohistochemistry for the cancer testing. We brought at that time fully automation solution into Pakistan. There was another company like us. So I started visiting different exhibitions, different expos. So we pitched many big brands. So I think out of all those top 10 companies, we had representation of 6 big brands in Pakistan on the GMS platform. And then in the cardiology segment, we introduced EP program, I said, to electric cardiac physiology. That was not available in Pakistan. So we introduced in 2017 and 18.
So there were a lot of firsts that you did.
Yes, in EP we launched first. In histopathology, we introduced automation in Pakistan, immunohistochemistry first. And molecular pathology, we introduced real-time PCR first.
When did you decide to set up a manufacturing unit, the first of its kind in Pakistan, for this IVD equipment?
I think that time came during the COVID time.
Okay.
During the COVID time, of course, when COVID started, and I was in Dubai actually, there was an exhibition. I came back when there was a difficult time. We had some friends in army, in pathology. They called me that, Zafar, can you bring this kit for Pakistan? We need it, PCR-based test. So it was very expensive. So we imported few kits, and we gave them to the army for the testing of PCR for the COVID. After a few days, they realized whole in the globally, of course, there was a logistically everything, you know, it was shut down, and the pandemic was spreading, and it was a fearful situation. So the same army guy, General Ijaz, he called me, Zafar, we need some solution. We have not been able to find how we move forward. And even there's a product like how to take the sample, that's called VTM, viral transport medium. So in Pakistan, due to the, of course, logistic issues, and there was a big demand globally, Pakistan was, of course, not on the priority for the exporters, for the manufacturers. So this VTM was around 1,000 rupees, and it went up to 2,000 rupees, and was not available at that time.
Okay.
Similarly, PCR kits, we were importing like 10 kits, and we were distributing one kit here, one kit Karachi, one kit there.
I
So it was a situation.
Even for the masks.
Yeah, it was a crazy
because
situation.
the pandemic, it was a difficult time.
Very difficult situation.
For the whole world.
For the whole world.
So that's when you decided to take the plunge and open up.
And they asked me, okay, we will give you formula if you can just fill for us the tube for the VTM, and so we can get it done. So we started in our warehouse, a small room.
In Texla?
In Texla. It was a warehouse in Bahatar, the Punjab Small Industrial Zone.
Meal. No, what do you call it?
Bahatar is a small city near Texla. It's a Punjab Small Industrial Zone where we had actually warehouse. In the same warehouse, we started in one room filling of this VTM to help the army people for sample transport media.
Okay.
During the COVID time in 2020, 29 or 20, it was a very at the beginning of the COVID.
Yeah.
And when we started, then we, of course, they helped us a lot, supported us. We built, during the COVID time, we cleared one facility inside the warehouse, 3-4 rooms. We started then making the rooms specialized as per the requirements. It was difficult, nobody was willing to work during the COVID, but with all masks, and we were going there and working there. Anyhow, we got support from the institutes like DRAP, they supported us, Army, Desto, they all supported us.
And then it became a success story.
Success story. We started, and then VTM price, you saw, we bring from 1,000 rupees to 100 rupees.
Wow. And
we were selling VTM to Army, we were selling to Desto, the National Disaster NDMA, National Disaster Management Authority. We were the biggest supplier for VTM, for PCR kits, and then at the later stage, we introduced first time in Pakistan the COVID vaccine. We were the first. Who began?
We were the first ones.
We were the first in the private sector during those tough days.
Very nice.
We started vaccination in Islamabad. I remember the night when the vaccines came, and there were the people from media,
everyone wanted to get tested and all. So I think it came from your leading from the front example. I'm sure all your employees would look at you for the inspiration and motivation. Did not having a medical degree or not being a doctor ever become a hindrance in your healthcare business? You not being a professional practicing doctor, did it ever hinder your business?
I think no, because I was very fond of studying. I always, I think, manage through the study.
So you keep yourself abreast of all the developments.
Exactly, I am good listener as well as I am good. I think I have attended many trainings internationally, many programs with the different international companies. Because as I said, out of 500 Fortune companies, we represent 4. So I am attending those conferences and the meetings. And then of course we started with VTM. We built a big facility, and we are the only company who have now ISO 13485. We have GMP. We have international certification CE. We have more than 50 products today in our portfolio.
Wow.
We are introducing PCR. We are introducing the first vacuum tender tube. We have already started export.
And it's still growing.
It's still good. It's just started. I think it's a beginning. It's a beginning.
I think you are an inspiration for a lot of people, and you know, it all goes to show two things. One, you know, getting yourself proper education or studying always helps. It's never too late to start. And secondly, there's no replacement for hard work. And third is always keep the faith. No matter what your economic conditions are or whatever prevalent conditions you're living in, always keep the faith, and God will always help you. Any message for our viewers, Mr. Zafar? There's paucity of time. I would love to talk on more with you, but you know, we have shortage of time. Any message that you'd like to give to our viewers?
I think this is a story of starting the life with discipline. I always say my children as well as my all team members, if you follow discipline, have a good faith in Allah, of course, Allah Tabarak Ta'ala, and keep, of course, keeps looking the caring of the people who are around you.
Yeah.
And don't take the money as your objective. Money is always a byproduct. Profit is always a byproduct.
It all
We
follows.
are here in this world to win, not to die,
Not to
but
die.
to win, of course, and create a good success
And to
story.
win hearts.
To win hearts.
Yeah, to serve humanity. If you serve humanity, definitely, as Zafar Sahab very rightly said, money and everything else is a byproduct. Thank you very much, Zafar Sahab. It was a pleasure talking to you, and I hope we create more Zafar Mahmoods like yourself. Your story is very inspiring. I will inshallah see you in another episode of Sky is the Limit with a new guest and a new inspiring story. Till then, Allah Hafiz.